Hello, everyone. Welcome to How to Host Live Events using Microsoft Teams. My name is Christian Wykes, and I'm the marketing specialist here at Corporate Renaissance Group. We're creating this short video for Teams users who want to know how to host and manage live events in the application. Recently, we held our first live event webinar, and it went extremely well. Going forward, we'll be incorporating Teams as one of our top webinar hosting platforms. There are a number of options to collaborate using Microsoft Teams. In previous webinars, we have talked about how to get started with Teams as a tool to stay in touch with colleagues and how to make the most out of it for collaboration. You can find these webinars in the on-demand section of our website, crgroup.com. Today, we want to talk about what Teams live events are and how they differ from Teams meetings, when to use either Teams meetings or live events, the specifications of the software, how to schedule and host live events. It's my pleasure to introduce you to today's host, Elizabeth Brown. She's an expert in all things sharing and collaboration and leads the client projects here at CR Group for Teams and SharePoint.
So a Teams live event is a broadcast of information. So there's a presenter role, there's a producer role. The presenter and producer roles are very similar, and then there's attendee roles. People come in and they're either attending it, in which case they're just consuming the information, while the presenter and producers are broadcasting the information. Attendees can ask questions via chat, but they're not able to start talking. Where Teams meetings, it's more for smaller groups, and it offers the capability for everyone to participate. So it's much more of a collaboration, where a live event is much more like, okay, here's our sales figures for the last month, or here's a new company policy. Just some specifications. So a meeting, the maximum people right now is 250 people, where a live event, the maximum number of attendees is 10,000 people. So you can see for a live event, you can definitely broadcast this information quite widely. Time maximum is 4 hours. You can produce 15 live events at once per organization. There's captions and subtitles that can be added. Right now, the current maximum is 10 presenter, and you can have anonymous attendees to a live event. One of the things to remember with Microsoft is they're constantly making improvements, adding more resources. So let's take a look. Here you are in Teams. So you can see you've got the sidebar over here. Basically, you just want to go into the calendar. You just go up to new meeting up here in the right hand corner, and then you click on the drop down, and then there's live events, and then you can schedule it, and then you just set the time to whatever time you want to meet. You can just change it around there. Otherwise, you can actually click where you want to have it, and then it will come up with a new meeting, and you go close and then go in and go live event. So we're just going to call this demo. So you want to give it a title. The locations, we don't have any locations set up. That's something that has to be set up in the sort of configuration settings for your organization. Basically, you can put up different building locations. Start date, end time, start typing some details about it. So you can say how to use new expense system. So just basically, you can put in your whatever details you want here. You can see that there's some formatting options you have here. Then over here, you can see there's an option to invite presenters. I can actually just add in Christian. So when I add him, you can see I can say he's a presenter, or I could also make it a producer. So there's two different roles. There are a few differences, so you just might need to consider what ones you want to set up. So then when I click next, so it's just saying the permissions. If you wanted to, you can say people and groups, and then you could say, okay, well, I actually, there's like a CR group, admin group. So I could say, I only want this for the admin group. So you can put in different groups here. Organization-wide is just saying that everyone within your organization can come in and see it. They do have to sign in to come in and see it. Or public is just saying it's going to be open to absolutely everyone, and people aren't required to sign it. And then there's some sort of production settings down here about who the recording should be available to, if you want to make it available to attendees or not. Again, the caption, and then you can say which ones you want to translate it to. And then there's attendee engagement report, which tells you when people come in, when people leave. There's a Q&A so that attendees can ask questions and you can answer the question. And the final option down here is the support link. So it's just a URL that if people are having trouble accessing it, they can click on it and it'll give them some information. If you can see from the URL support.office.com, this is actually a Microsoft link. So basically I hit schedule, and then we just have to wait a moment. And now that has been scheduled. And you can see it says invite attendees. And so then there's a get attendee link. So if I just sort of go and click that, it says it's copied to the clipboard. If I want it to, you just copy it and paste, just saying, hey, do you want to come in with the Teams app? So for this case, I'm just going to say I want to just watch it on the web, just so you can see what happens. And then because we haven't started it, it just says the live event hasn't started. And then they've got access to the Q&A panel here. So even before the event has started, they can actually come in and ask questions because we enabled the Q&A. Again, you can see that I'm the organizer and that Kristen is also the producer. You get the attendee link, and you can use it, share it in a calendar, or you can sort of embed it in a web page. If I click join, and that's going to go and start the live event, and click join now. Okay, so everyone, this is the live event. The add video content and the live event hasn't started, so there's sort of this division of the screen. And so the add video or content, that's sort of what's called the queue area. So you can kind of queue up video content, and then you can decide when you want to send it live. The screen sharing doesn't work quite the same way because as soon as you share, it goes live. We'll demonstrate that in a moment. You can see at the top it says demo. It just shows you how long it's been running for since you hit join. You can see it says 2 attendees and pre-live. Pre-live obviously because we haven't gone live yet, and the 2 attendees is because I had those 2 accounts that I can see that Kristen and I are both here. And over here, health and performance, which is showing you the bandwidth. There's the Q&A, and so you can see there's actually that one new one that I did when I was in the demo. So I could do a private reply, 2 minutes, publish it, and then that makes it more available to everyone. Over here, there's some meeting notes, so you can just sort of type in whatever in there. And then you can also chat back and forth. Because someone's talking and presenting, then you have a way of communicating with your other presenters. This is sort of who's currently in the meeting. If you needed to invite someone, you can actually ad hoc invite people. Make this. So once you minimize the panel, you have the leave button. So if you wish to leave, you can leave. Down here, in terms of the content, you can share. So I can actually say I want to share my desktop. And then you can see when I share that content is here. So I can actually go send that live. So I can double click and that's going to put that up here. And then you can say send live. If you wish to, instead of just having content, you can also pick the content left, and then you can add a video as well. So when I came in, my camera was off, so I can turn that on. You can see my camera's here, so I can actually add that video here. So now you can see you have the screen share and the video share there. You can hit send live. And what that's going to do is that's going to move it across to the live event screen over here. It doesn't start the live event. It just sort of says, okay, this is the first stuff. When we start the live event, we want to have this screen shared and this video. So that's what people are going to see when I hit start. So if I wanted to share my screen and then I want to have a Kristen's screen shared, what he would have to do, he'd have to come into the share button down here and share his own screen. And once he did that, it would go live. It would, as soon as he says, yeah, I share, it's going to overwrite what I've got. That's going to go live right away. This queue, though, would work if we wanted to add his video. So if he had his video camera on, then I could move him up to the queue so that then I could say, okay, I'm going to be on talking, and then we're going to show his camera and he'll come up. So you can queue up the videos for the different people, but the content itself, as soon as you say, hey, I want to share, then it goes live once the event is started. There is a little warning that pops up and says, hey, you're going to take over. So basically, if I hit start, that actual event goes live. Once you start it, that's it. It's gone. It's going live. You can't start and then restart. So what I'm going to do is hit continue here. You can see it's saying this event is now live. This is what people are seeing. Kristen, do you mind just putting on your camera so I can sort of cue you up? You can see he's here. So then I can actually queue him up here. And because I'm sharing this screen, you can see him here. But it allows me to queue him up. And then, okay, now I'm ready to convert. So I'm going to go send live. And that's going to send him across. That's what people see. And so if I wanted to, then I could actually queue back to myself over here. Or you could queue up to someone else, right? Can I share my screen here? So I bring up this content, and so I can bring it here, but you can only do one at once. So when I hit send live, I'm now sharing my screen. If Christian, if you go and share your screen, it's going to actually just kind of overwrite my screen, if you can just show that. The content changed to his desktop and it went straight to live. And then if I wanted to come in here and click share, then it's going to give me this prompt. Are you sure you want to share? Then it's going to come back to my content. If you do need to share screens between different presenters, it's just something you need to be really conscious about when you want to switch. The video is a little bit easier to queue up, and if there is a video, you can queue up the content. If it is your first time using this, you might want to just run through it with presenters just to make sure that all the transitions are seamless. So I'm going to hit end here, and that's going to end the presentation. Before I end, what I wanted to talk about was if I stop sharing and I'm not sharing a video and you don't queue up anything at all, this live event will continue in a moment. That's what's going to be displayed to your attendees. So that's the other thing that you do need to be careful about, is that if one user's sharing and they want to go to another person and they just hit stop sharing and you don't have a video displayed, it's just going to say the live event will continue in a moment. You probably want to make sure you've queued up a video camera and then run that across if someone needs to stop sharing their screen and there needs to be a bit of a transition. So now I'm going to hit end. If you're ending it, it's done. You're not going to be able to restart it, but I'm going to say that's fine. I'm just going to end. So after I finished the event, I've gone back into the calendar and here's the event here. So if I open this up and I scroll down, I can come over here and I can download the recording that was made. I can download the Q&A report and the attendee engagement report. There's the transcript, which was created automatically, so I can download that as well. Or I can say I want to delete them or refresh them. You can come in here after the event is over and gather some of the resources that were created during the live event. So back to you, Christian.
Yeah, so in using Teams live events, we had a couple things for opportunities as well as positives that we thought once we held our first webinar. For opportunities, we felt that the queue feature works well with video, but not other presenters' content. So as Elizabeth showed in the demo, I can't have my own PowerPoint that I can then share unless I'm sharing my screen, which will overwrite her screen. The attendee names are not available in the middle of the presentation. So what you would see is that there are 12, 13 people attending your event, but you're not able to find out the names of those people until after, once we get this attendee report, which is something to consider. There's no registration available because it's more of internal usage sometimes. They have yet to create a way to register for the event from an external perspective. So we did that with a landing page as well as calendar events, which then did not totally integrate into our CRM, requiring a few extra steps. But we have quite a few positives as well. It's very easy to set up. You just go into your calendar and go. You don't require a whole bunch of descriptions and that type of thing. It can eliminate other subscriptions. If you're using something like GoToWebinar or Zoom, you might not need to have those tools. It also offers different levels of access for attendees and presenters as well as producers, so that not everybody can kind of hijack your webinar. And you get the list of attendees pretty well immediately after the webinar, and can also set up auto recording. So there's a lot of benefits to using this, especially if you're already using it in your organization. All right, now it's your turn to start hosting your first live event. If you want to learn more about Microsoft Teams, be sure to check out our on-demand webinars on our website, as well as our numerous blogs. If you want to get started with Teams, don't hesitate to contact us via our site or email us at crg@crgroup.com. Thanks for watching. We hope this will help you with your first live event, and thank you to our presenter, Elizabeth Brown, for the detailed tour of live events. Bye for now.